When I went to school, we were doing everything on, pasteboards, no computers. Yeah, the only thing that was done on a computer was some typesetting. I think I was in 7th grade when a teacher of mine, it was actually a class on, they didn't call it graphic design, they called it, what did they call it? Visual arts or something like that, or graphic arts, I forget what it was called. But the teacher said the people in our society that have the most influence on a daily basis are the graphic designers, because their stuff is seen by millions of people, tens of thousands of times a day. So I don't know, there's something about that appealed to my sense of wanting to influence people. So in 2015, the summer of 2015, I was wakeboarding, and I did a face plant on the water and tore both of my retinas. So it drastically changed my eyesight, and still to this day, it's the same. It's healed some, but my visual acuity is terrible. So just spending a lot of time at the computer, my vision will just go blurry after a couple of hours of being at a computer. So even in slow times with the graphic design, so I experimented with a couple of things. One was art, and the other was handyman work, which I also really enjoy. So it was just kind of a natural extension of what I was already doing and what I like doing. And I like creating spaces. I like creating environments. Some of the story behind that is when I was a little kid, I wanted to grow up to be a Native American Indian, and so I didn't know that you couldn't do that. So I always enjoyed being outside. I just thought running around in the woods in a loincloth sounded like a great idea, great way to spend the rest of my life.
So it was like Tarzan or a
Tarzan.
Mowgli?
Tarzan was totally one of my heroes.
That's awesome.
But later on in life, I'd done a lot of study on environments, and you realize that we spent this much of our history outside, living among trees and woods and plants and rocks and things. This much of our history we're living in houses.
Right.
We're not living in the environment that is natural to our being and our health and our welfare. So, and a lot of this has been studied. I've come across a few people who have studied the effect of natural environments on health of the human brain, the mind, and literally spending time around plants and trees. It drops your heart rate, it drops your stress response in your body. So my idea has been to kind of create an outdoor environment inside, since we kind of have to live in houses these days. We're not, like I thought I could when I was a little kid.
Right.
So I create.
You brought the outside in.
Outside in, yeah.
I love it.
So that's also why there's a lot of different plants.
And you used to do set design too, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so that
I
definitely
really loved doing that. Yeah.
So that no doubt informs some of your ideas as well.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, you had just come back from Disney, and
right.
I had been there, just a couple weeks ago too. And going through Disney, I every time I do it, I go, dang, I just totally followed the wrong career path.
Right.
So I come back and I study how these guys create these environments,
right.
and how they actually create the rocks and the trees and stuff. So I actually had created a few trees in my past, set design stuff. So which was always a challenge and fun. But yeah, I really pressed into art for a good long season after that. Just doing daily, the daily practice of art. After my eye surgery, went back to my to the ophthalmologist and said, "So, what do you do for a living?" I said, "Well, right now I'm doing art." And he said, "I bet you it's abstract art, isn't it?"
And it is, right?
Right. Because I can't do like a lot of detail work on a painting or whatever. Even
if you wanted to.
It's irritating, yeah. Or even trying to draw from a photograph, just my eyesight just going back from photograph to painting, it's not worth it. So one of my frustrations, even when I go to, an art store, art show, or a museum, is when I see, really cool textured pieces and I want to touch them so badly,
Right.
But, you can't, they'll even pull you back if you look at them too closely,
Right.
Which is, with my eyesight off, and tempted to do that. But so I've been wanting to create a show of pieces that you're allowed to touch, so that people are allowed to put their hands on them, and so, well, you engage more senses. That anytime you can engage more senses. And even sounds. I could do nature sounds and pump in certain smells. Anything to
Right.
get more. Really cool place in Shanghai that I got to visit this past November. I think it's sponsored by Epson, the color printer people.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, and it's mostly done with light.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think there's about 8 different environments inside this building. It's really difficult to navigate sometimes because it's dark, but some unbelievable spaces that would be so cool,
right,
as a performance environment. Once I get enough pieces that make a show viable, I'll probably do it here. Yeah. So we transformed the house into a gallery. We've done it probably 4 times since we've been in this house, so not that often. We're due for one, so.
I love it.
Well, it was also the idea for others. So we've had probably 3 other artists. Well, no, that's not true. More like a half a dozen other artists come in. But now we have the main art studio has been temporarily conscripted.
Yes.